Felicio from SoloMode Games. Today, I'm doing a solo playthrough of Architects of the West Kingdom. Architects of the West Kingdom is set at the end of the Carolingian Empire, circa 850 AD. As royal architects, players compete to impress their king and maintain their noble status by constructing various landmarks throughout his newly appointed domain. Players will need to collect raw materials, hire apprentices, and keep a watchful eye on their workforce. These are treacherous times. Rival architects will stop at nothing to slow your process. Will you remain virtuous or be found in the company of thieves and black marketeers? Architects of the West Kingdom is a worker placement game with a unique mechanic called worker investment, where as you place workers to particular spots, their actions can become more and more powerful. It has the same lovely art that you come to expect from the North Sea games from the same designer. So let's head on over to the table and take a look. Okay, here we have the solo setup for Architects of the West Kingdom. I do want to point out at the very beginning that this is a prototype. Everything that you see here are prototype materials. And while much of the art is complete, there are still some things that are not completely up to date. Also, these metal coins that you're going to see are going to be part of the Kickstarter campaign. And the retail version will have cardboard versions of coins rather than these metal coins. The actual components that come with the game will be of the same great quality that you would expect from Raiders of the North Sea and the other games of the North Sea line. So just keep in mind that these are prototype components. All right, so it is really almost set up for solo play. There's very few differences between the solo setup and multiplayer setup. You're going to have a setup, basically set up like a two-player game because you're going to be playing against one AI opponent. In this case, I'm going to be playing against Constantine. Constantine is the easy AI. On the flip side of this card is Helena, and she is the advanced version of the AI, and I think I'm going to have enough of a challenge with Constantine that I'm going to try it with him. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that my player, I'm going to be playing with Frederick, and I'm going to be playing on the special power side. Every one of the players can be played as just a regular, where you don't have any special abilities and you all start with the same items, or you can play with the kind of variant side, which will give you some special abilities and some different setups. So here you look and see what you start with. So I have nobody in prison. I start with 4 silver. I'm at 7 on the virtue track, and I have 1 stone. My special ability, as denoted here, is that whenever I build at the Cathedral, I do not have to discard a building card. Normally, you would have to discard a building card when you go to the Cathedral to build, and I'll explain that when I get to that point. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with that side. Everybody, myself and Constantine, is going to start with 20 workers. That is the standard. All right, here are my 4 silver that I start with, and my 1 stone. All right. Constantine's going to start with his 20 workers. In the solo game, I will take the first turn, and then Constantine will take the next turn, and we'll just go back and forth until the end game is triggered. And the end game is going to be triggered by 12 constructions at the guild hall. So again, I'll explain that as we go along, but you place a worker at the guild hall to build either a building or a joint construction at the Cathedral. We're both going to be building on that Cathedral throughout the game. The last thing I wanted to point out about setup is before the game I went ahead and drew my building cards. What you do is you draw 5 building cards, you keep 3 of them, and you put the other 2 at the bottom of the deck. So I went ahead and started with 2 low-level building cards where they don't need any special workers, any assistance, I should say, to build them. They're not going to be very many victory points, but these are buildings that I think are possible to get built early on, and I have one, the dungeon, which is a very difficult building, and I may or may not be able to build that, but these are not yet constructed. They're just in my hand, and I'll hopefully be building those as the game goes on. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take my first turn. This is a worker placement game, and it has many of the things that you normally will see with a worker placement game, where you place your worker and you take the corresponding action. However, this has a mechanic known as worker investment, and really what that means is that for many of these spots, the more workers that you place there, the more powerful that spot becomes. For example, at the forest, you get 1 wood for every worker there. So the first time you go to the forest, you'll get 1 wood. The second time you'd get 2, third 3, for example, you just would keep going. Now, there are going to be many times that workers will get captured from those spots, and you'll see how that works. So it's very unlikely that you'll have 8 or 10 workers in one particular spot. First of all, you probably want to diversify your actions, but second of all, they're going to get captured more likely than not. So I am not going to explain all of these spots before we get going. I think the easiest way to understand it is to explain it the first time that I go to a spot. I will explain it, or the first time that Constantine goes to a spot, I'll explain it, and they will have some different rules in many cases for the solo player. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm looking at my building cards. I know that I'm going to need some resources. Both of these buildings are going to need wood and brick. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the mines. Here you get 1 automatically, plus 1 for every worker. So the first time I go there, I'm going to get 2 clay or brick. And so I go ahead and take those and put them in my player board. Now, we get the first card for Constantine. The way the AI cards work is that every time at the top you're going to have a location, and you're going to place a worker at that location, and then you're going to get a series of instructions that slightly change for the AI player. In this case, the tax stand, he's going to go there. He's going to return any of the coins from the tax stand to the main supply and receive the following. In this case, his virtue is going to go down 2, and he's going to get a marble. At the end of the game, Constantine is going to have quite a bit of marble, and every piece of marble will be worth 1 point. So the first thing we do, the game was seeded originally with 4 coins in the tax stand. Those are now gone. They go back to the main supply. Constantine is going to lose 2 virtue, so he's going to go down from 7 to 5. We both started at 7 virtue, and he's going to get a marble here. So just briefly speaking about the virtue track, as Constantine goes up and down, these special little items are not going to trigger for him. He's not going to have to worry about these. I do. As you move up and down the virtue track, certain things can occur. Starting at 10 and above, you can get endgame victory points, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. After space 10, if I'm there, I cannot go to the black market. That doesn't affect Constantine. He can be up at the top and he can still place workers at the black market. As you get lower, from 4 and below, you can no longer build, well, I can no longer build at the Cathedral. Constantine still can. The downside is that not only can you not build at the Cathedral, but at the end of the game, if you're on one of these spots, you're losing points, -3, -5, 7, 8, and 9. The benefit could potentially be that you don't pay as many taxes, and I'll explain how taxes work as things go along as well, okay? So, I took my first turn, Constantine took his first turn, and we're going to cycle back to me. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna just start soaking up this clay, brick. I'm gonna get, let's see, 1 plus 1 per worker, so I'm actually gonna be getting 3 there this time. That's how the worker investment works. 1 per worker, so I get 3. So now I've got 5, and I'm already well on my way to building one of these buildings. All right, now we're gonna flip over Constantine's. This is the workshop. So the way this is gonna work is that he's gonna place a worker at the workshop here. 2 coins are gonna go into the tax stand. That's what these 2 red coin symbols mean. This card is going to get discarded, so it's going to go from here to the bottom of the apprentice deck. And then it said, if possible, add 1 future scheme card per worker to the scheme's discard pile. Well, there's 1 worker there. This is a future scheme pile, so I'm going to put one of those in the discard pile there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to need wood to build one of my buildings, so I'll go to the forest. This is simply 1 wood per worker, so I collect that. We go to Constantine. He's going to the town center. All right. Town center is right here. So the way this is going to work is that, first of all, he's going to capture some of my workers. In this case, only 1. Oh, no, 2, because I've got 2 at the mine. So first thing is a tax goes into the tax stand, and then it says captures all your workers from the location with the most, excluding the tax stand. If they were tied, if I only had 1 in every spot, then there's an order of operations that you would get. But here I have 2 workers in the mines, only 1 worker in the forest. So these 2 workers get captured and placed on his player board. These captured workers, a couple of things can happen. I can go to the guardhouse, and one of the things I can do there is get those workers back from him. That would cost me $5. Or they could get sent to prison. He may send them to prison, and then I can retrieve them from prison at the guardhouse and not pay any money for that. So there are ways for me to get those back. Right now, these are not really available to me. All right, so I think right now what I'm going to do is I can build my clay pit, my first building. So I'm going to go to the guild hall. All right, place a worker face down. That's not going to come back. That's going to stay there no matter what. This clay pit, all right, this is going to be built. At the end of the game, I'm going to get 3 points. I have to spend 4 brick, 1 wood to build the clay pit. Immediately, that little kind of lightning bolt symbol means that this is an immediate thing that happens. I can either get a gold or a marble, all right? And I think what I'm going to do is get a gold, because then later, the cathedral, the first thing I need to do there is spend a gold. So I'll go ahead and take a gold from building the clay pit. I need to spend my resources. My 4 brick go back, my 1 wood goes back, and I've built my first building, all right? Here we go, Constantine going back to the workshop here. 2 coins go into the tax stand. Oh, first thing, this is something I didn't catch before. Whenever a card gets taken here, you refill, and then you're going to reseat it here. Okay, so this card is going to get... actually, I think I took one of my workers and put it on the workshop. That's him. He needs to go there. Sorry about that. The debt collector here, this is going to be discarded. And now it says 1 future scheme card per worker. So we're going to be putting 2 future scheme cards. Let's refill that. All right, so 1 and 2 future scheme cards go into there. All right, back to me. All right, well, I'm thinking I might go ahead and go to the cathedral. I'm building very quickly, so I'll go to the guild hall here. At the cathedral, what you do is everyone starts at the bottom. There's a little track here, okay? And you have to pay what is at the item above where you're at. So we start at the very bottom. At this first level, you have to discard a gold, and normally you have to discard a building card in your hand. Well, Frederick's special ability, as I mentioned at the beginning of the setup here, was that I don't have to discard. So I feel like it's in my interest to build the cathedral as often as I can and utilize Frederick's special ability. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to move my point marker up there. It's going to be worth 2 points for me at the end of the game. I'll spend that gold that I just got by building my clay pit earlier. Do not have to discard a building card, and so that's nice. I was able to take advantage of that special ability. For my next movement up the cathedral, I'll need to have any combination of 4 stone and or wood. So any combination of 4 stone and wood, then I can move up on the cathedral and start building towards more points there. All right, Constantine's turn. He's going to the guardhouse. This is a multi-step process here. Okay, so what this card says is that you're going to take as many actions as possible in the following order, and I'll explain them as they go down. The first thing is, let me try to bring this up to the camera a bit. Any workers that he had in prison would get returned to his player board. Currently, he has no work. Nobody is in prison at all. The next thing is that any captured workers that he has will be sent to prison, and he's going to get a marble. Doesn't matter how many workers, 1, 5, 10, he's getting 1 marble. In this case, he has one of my workers captured, so he's going to do that. The next thing would be if I had any of his workers captured, he would put 2 coins into the tax stand and to release those workers back to his board. And this one is if he had a unpaid debt, and I'll explain that as it comes, he would spend 3 to the tax stand and he would discard that debt and get a virtue. So the only thing that's going to trigger here is my captured workers are going to go to prison and he's going to get a marble for that. So my worker gets up to prison. He's going to get a marble, which is worth 1 point for him at the end of the game. All right, well, let's see here. I could go up to the guardhouse and remove my worker from prison, but I don't need to worry about that quite yet. The time that you really have to worry about prisoners in the prison there is when you have what's called a black market reset. We haven't gone to the black market, and so I haven't really described what's going on there, but I think I'll just go over that really briefly. There are 3 single worker spots at the black market, okay? The first one, you spend a coin and you lose a virtue and you get what is on this card. In this case, it is a marble and a stone. Or you can go to this middle spot. If you do that, you're spending 2 coins, losing a virtue, and you can either get a assistant, or you can draw 5 building cards, pick one that you like, and put the other 4 at the bottom of the deck. The last thing you can do, these are like small market and large market. You can go to the large market, spend 3 coins, lose a virtue, and get everything on this card, which is 2 marble, a stone, and a wood. All right. When this black market gets filled, all 3 spots taken, then you're going to have what's called a black market reset, which is going to trigger, and we'll see this. We're sure to see at least 2, because whenever the first worker is placed on the bottom 2 rows of the guild hall, that's going to trigger 1. But very likely there will be a black market reset before that. When that happens, then the more workers you have in prison, the worse it is for you. You don't want to have a lot of workers in prison when a black market reset happens. It's not a good thing. All right, so it is back to me, and I'll take this next turn right now. All right, well, I'm considering picking up, capturing his workers here. When you capture workers on a later turn, you can send them to the prison for money. You know, one thing I just realized, I made a bit of a mistake here. When I went to the Cathedral, in addition to getting those 2 points, I should have taken this top card and received what was on it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I apologize, I kind of missed that, but I got it in time. I get a virtue, and I'm going to get 2 stone. So let me go ahead and do that now. I'm going to move up to 8, and I'm going to get my 2 stone. All right, I shortchanged myself a little bit. This is seeded at the beginning of the game randomly with 2 of these rewards cards per player plus 1. So we started with 5. When those all run out, then you'll get a virtue instead. All right, okay. Well, I think I might want to pick up a assistant here. The way this works, when you go to the workshop, well, I'll just go to the workshop and then I'll explain it. So I'm going to put 1 worker there. 2 coins have to go to the tax stand and 2 go to the general supply. That's all my money, so I'm going to put 2 to the tax stand, 2 to the general supply. And now I can choose either one of these in the first row, because with 1 worker you can choose from this first row. With your second worker you can choose from the first or second row, 3 workers and 4 workers. There are ways to get, there is one way to get workers further on than or assistants further on than the number of workers you have. So for example, if I really wanted that woodcutter and I placed my first worker here, normally I'd only be able to go from this one. If I had extra silver, I can place a silver on the illusionist and the stonecutter and take from the woodcutter. Now, I don't have extra silver, so I can only choose from the illusionist or the merchant. I think I'm going to go for the merchant because the illusionist is immediately going to make me lose a virtue. and I don't really want to do that right now. So instead, I'm going to get the merchant. What the merchant's going to allow me to do is when I go to the King's Storehouse, I'm going to have another possibility. I can pay 1 silver to get 2 wood. All right, so I'll go ahead and put that in front of me. You can never have more than 5 active assistants. So right now I've just got the 1, and let's see what Constantine's going to do. Constantine's going to the guild hall, so he's going to build. So he goes there. All right, and it says takes the first possible action below in the following order. Moves their player marker 1 space up the cathedral and discards the top rewards card. If he couldn't do that, then he would just get a marble. Well, he can do that. So he's going to move up there. He's tied with me on the cathedral now. And we are going to discard this reward card. All right, that is no longer available for me. Okay, so these are going to come down. I almost made that mistake again. Actually, he's going to get a virtue as well. Let's put that virtue up there to 6. All right. Okay, so let's see here. I've got some stone, I've got some brick, I've got a merchant. I think I'm not thrilled with either of these buildings. Thinking what I might do is get another couple of buildings. All right, so I'm going to go here. This is an either or. The one thing you can do is get a assistant, which I had been showed you already. I've done that. Or you can get with your first worker 1 building card and then another building card per every 2 workers. So I have 2 workers there now, so I can get 2 building cards that I can keep. I've got a well and a carpenter's hut. These are going to be much easier for me to potentially build. So that's a good thing. All right. You can never have more than 6 building cards in hand. Right now I've got 4, so I'm in good shape. Here we go. Here's Constantine. Constantine is going to the town center again. He's going to be capturing more of my workers, unfortunately. We get a coin in the tax stand. That's getting nice and full here. All right, so right now the place, I've got 2 workers at the workshop, only 1 worker at the forest, so he's going to capture both of my workers from the workshop and put those in his captured worker spot. All right. All right, well, looking at my new buildings here, I think I want to get some wood so that I can build this well. All right, I'm going to go to the forest. I've got 2 workers there. It's 1 wood per worker, so I'm going to pick up 2 wood. And I'm right now in the place where I can build that well on my next turn. All right, here we go. Guardhouse. He's going to the guardhouse. He's going to take as many of these possible actions as he can. Remove any of his workers from prison. He has none. Take captured workers, put them to prison, and get a marble. He's going to do that. Release any workers. He doesn't have any captured. And he doesn't have any debt cards. All right. Well, I don't really feel rushed to go to the guardhouse yet and pick up my workers because I still have plenty of workers here. I don't think we're in danger of a black market reset anytime soon. So I think I might go ahead and build at the guild hall. I'm going to build this well. All right. So I go here to the guild hall. The well. It's going to be worth 3 points at the end of the game. I spend 2 wood, 2 stone, and it's going to immediately get me 4 brick. All right. So I go ahead and build that. Let's get rid of those stone. Those are getting built. And those woods are going to be built. And I'm going to get 4 bricks. 1, 2, 3. And 4. All right. I'm doing my part. I'm building, building, building. I'm trying to be the best architect in the land. All right, here we go. Constantine is going to the King's Storehouse, and he's going to get 1 virtue per worker he has there. He only has the 1, so he gets up to 9 virtue. Actually, that's me. I'm giving myself virtue. He gets 7 virtue. All right. Well, let's see here. I've got a lot of brick now. This reservoir takes a lot of brick. It takes 6 brick and a wood to build, so I'm keeping my eye on that. I could go to the forest, get some wood. I've been lucky. I've got plenty of building cards here that haven't needed particular assistance. Or I'm calling them assistants. They're really called apprentices. I apologize. Let me get my nomenclature right. They're apprentices. All right, I tell you, I'm thinking about getting that money. I'd have to lose 2 virtue, but that's a lot of money. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the tax stand. I lose 2 virtue. I go from 8 to 6, and I pick up all of this lovely coin. It was a little too hard to pass up. All right, Constantine, going to the King's Storehouse again. He's moving up that virtue track. Now he's going to get 2. All right, he's going to go from 7 to 9. All right, back to me. Let's see here. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to build this carpenter's hut. So I need just a wood to do that. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to get 3 wood. All right, oops. There's my 3 wood, and we're back to Constantine. He's going to the black market for the first time. Okay, so the way this works is that he's going to gain some particular rewards, and he's got some priority levels. The first place that he wants to go is the 3rd spot. If that's not open, then he would go to the 2nd spot. If that's not open, you go to the 1st. Well, in this case, they're all open. He's going to go here, and he's going to lose 1 virtue and gain 2 marble, which is going to give him 2 points at the end of the game. All right, so now I'm starting to think a little bit about this black market reset. 2 more workers at the black market, 3 more builds, and that's going to happen. So I don't want to leave my workers in prison too much longer. But I think I can probably hold off 1 more turn. Yeah, I think I can hold off 1 more turn, and I'll go ahead and I'll build that carpenter's hut. Go to the guild hall. This is going to give me 5 points at the end of the game. I spend 3 brick, 1 wood, 1 stone, and at the end of the game, it's going to give me 1 victory point per apprentice with that kind of axe, that kind of wood cutting ability. All right, so I want to think about picking up some of those apprentices. I already have 1 right now. My merchant will give me 1 point at the end of the game. So let me go ahead and spend those 3 brick, 1 wood, 1 stone. All right, so I'm building some buildings here. That's good. That's what you're trying to do in this game, is build, build, build. Wow, he's going to that storehouse. He's a big fan. Constantine's he's very virtuous. He's not building so much, but he's virtuous. So 1, 2, and 3. He's up to 11 on the virtue track. All right, and it's back to me. All right, I'm wondering how much longer I want to wait to pick up my workers, and I think the answer is I don't want to wait any longer. So the way the guardhouse works is that you get 1 action per worker you have there. There are multiple different actions you can take. I'm only going to be able to take 1 of them because I'm only having 1 worker there. So the different actions that I can take, these are slightly different than the ones Constantine takes, is that I could return any of his captured workers to prison, and I would get a coin for every worker that I did that. For free, I can remove all of my workers from prison and bring them back to my player board. That's what I'm going to be doing. I could take captured workers from his board back to mine by spending 5 coins, or taking a debt and losing a virtue. Or I can spend 6 coins to pay off a debt. So this seems like a good time to explain debt cards. So if I, for example, had a bunch of workers captured by Constantine and I really didn't want them to go to prison, I could get them back. If I didn't have enough coins, then perhaps what I would do is take a debt and lose a virtue. The way the debt works is that you take this card immediately in hand. If you keep it unpaid at the end of the game, you're going to lose 2 victory points. However, if you pay that debt by spending 6 coins here, you flip it over, you immediately get a virtue. Okay, so that's the way debt cards work. I don't think I'm going to be doing that right now. Right now, the only thing I'm going to be doing is taking my workers back from prison. They're free. Back to build again. All right, here we go. Constantine's going to the guardhouse again. Now, he doesn't have any actions he's going to be able to take here. He has no workers in prison. He has none of my captured workers. I don't have any of his captured workers, and he doesn't have any debts. So that actually worked out just fine for me. All right, let's see here. I could build this reservoir if I pick up some more brick. So let's go to the mines and pick up 2. You get 1 plus 1 per worker. So now on my next turn, I can get 3 more brick, and I'd be able to build that reservoir on the turn after that. Here we go. Wow, he is just shooting up that virtue track. So he's 1, 2, 3. He cannot go any higher. All right, he's at the tops. Now, It's very likely that he's going to lose some of that virtue through cards that get played here in a little while, but for the time being, he's very virtuous. All right. Let's go. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to, instead of building the reservoir right away, I'm going to think about starting to build the cathedral some more as well, because there's a lot of points involved there. Well, and I'm afraid these workers are going to get captured soon. So I think what I'll do is I'll go here and just pick up that 4 wood, because that 4 wood can be used in a number of different ways. All right. It's always good to have resources. So now I've got a lot of wood, a lot of brick. All right. Here we go. He's going to the town center. All right. So, town center. Why am I having trouble? There it is, right there. And he's going to be capturing workers. See, I had a feeling that might be coming. All right. So, tax to the tax stand. He's going to be capturing workers from wherever I have the most. That's certainly my forest, and they go into his captured worker spot. All right. So that was, I had a feeling that might be coming, so I really wanted to get that wood while I could. Right now, if I had not done that and I tried to go there, I'd only get 1 wood instead of the whole bunch of wood I got before. So I think what I might do is go ahead and go to the cathedral. Yeah, I'm going to go to the, well, actually I'm going to go to the guild hall to build in the cathedral. All right. So 4 of any combination of wood and stone, I'm going to go ahead and use all wood. All right, 4 wood get spent. I don't have to discard a card because that's my special ability. And then I'm going to get the reward, which is here, a virtue and 2 wood. All right, so let me move up there and get 2 more wood. That's fantastic. I got 2 of the 4 wood that I spent right back. All right, here we go. He's going to the tax stand. He's going to lose 2 virtue. First of all, the tax put back to the supply. He's going to lose 2 virtue, and he's going to get a marble, i.e. a point at the end of the game. All right, here we go. I'm considering going to the guild hall right now again to build this reservoir, because that way I can trigger that black market reset at a time that I have nobody in prison. And I think that that's in my best interest, because these workers could very easily be sent to prison anytime now. And then if that triggers, then I'm in trouble. So, oh, well, actually, I got ahead of myself. Well, I could. If I wanted to go to the, well, no, I can't. I need to get more brick. All right, so I'm taking a bit of a risk here, but not too much. So I'm going to get 3 brick. 1 plus 1 per worker there, so that's 3 brick. All right, and now Constantine, yep, see, he's going to the black market. First one is blocked, so he's going to go to the second spot. He's going to lose a virtue, and 1 future scheme card gets added to this discard pile. All right. Now I think I have to go to the guild hall, because I can build my reservoir and I can avoid getting hit with the black market reset there. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take a worker. I'm going to go to the guild hall. It has a little icon there that denotes that we're going to have a black market reset at the end of my action. You complete your action first. So what I'm going to do is build this reservoir. It doesn't need any special workers. It's going to cost 6 brick and 1 wood. So 2, 4, 6 brick, 1 wood. At the end of the game, this will give me a virtue for every 2 paid debts. So that likely will not do much of anything for me unless I start picking up a bunch of debts, but be that as it may. Okay, so now we've triggered our first black market reset, and here's what's going to happen. All of the workers from the black market go to prison. They've been doing dirty deeds, underhanded, shady dealings in the black market, and they've been caught and they've been sent to prison. All right. Once that happens, there's a series of steps. Okay. The first thing is, if you have any, I keep wanting to call them assistants, any of these workers that have a black market reset ability, you'd be able to trigger that I don't, so I don't need to worry about that. So the black market, they go to the prison. This small market card is going to get flipped over and moved to the large market, so we're kind of cycling through there, okay? Any players with 3 or more workers in prison would lose a virtue. That doesn't apply. The Constantine has 2 there. The player or players with the most workers in prison have to take a debt card. Okay, so in this case, a debt card is going to go to Constantine. He will very likely be able to get rid of that debt card. He can get rid of it here. There's a number of different ways he can get rid of it at the guardhouse. A number of different ways he can do that. Okay, so now it is my go. Oh, no, that was my go. I triggered it right there. It's Constantine's go. Town center. All right, he's going to the town center. He's going to put a coin in the tax stand. He's going to capture where I've got the most workers, which in this case is the mines. All right, so he's got a lot of my workers captured there. I could get those back potentially if need be. That's something I need to think about. All right, well, let's see here. I think what I want to do is this. I'd like to build at the cathedral again. That's going to take a marble. I don't have any marble, but if I go to the king's storehouse, you could take 1 action per worker and either convert 2 stone, wood, or brick for a virtue, or 3 wood or stone to get a marble. And I've got 3 wood, so I'm going to go to the king's storehouse. I can take 1 action. I'm going to convert these 3 wood into 1 marble, and I'm going to then use at the cathedral. All right. All right, so Constantine is going to the guild hall. All right, he's going to build. Takes the first possible action. He's going to get a virtue first of all, and he's going to move their player marker 1 space up in the cathedral and discard the reward card. So now he's tied with me. This is going to get discard. There's only 1 reward card left. Hopefully I can get it before he triggers it. Okay. On his next turn, this is going to get shuffled and set up a new draw pile. All right, so I don't think there's any reason for me to wait. I'm going to go ahead and go to the guild hall right now to build at the cathedral. All right, I'm going to go here, use that marble that I just got. So I'm going to go there, spend that marble. I don't have to discard a card because of Frederick's ability, and I get this last reward, which is 2 virtue. That's splendid. So I go up to 9. I'm almost at a point where I can start getting some victory points at the end of the game. All right, so now we're going to shuffle up Constantine's discards into a new draw deck, and now, in addition to the starting draw deck that he had, we took some of those cards from the future scheme pile, and those have been added, and so now we're going to have more cards in this deck. All right, here we go. Wow, King's Storehouse. Well, here we go. His last worker is going to go there. So now he's got 5 workers there at the King's Storehouse, and what that's going to do is move him up to the top, and that's going to discard this debt that he had. It doesn't get flipped over. He didn't pay it. It just gets destroyed. Okay? All right, so I've got my 4 workers. And I think what I need to do is pick up some... I need to pick up some building cards, I think. I think that's probably in my best interest. The other thing I could do is try to think about moving up the cathedral even more. You need a combination of 8 wood or stone to do that. I'm not really in a position. I have no wood, no stone. The other thing I could do is release my workers, because he's very likely going to be sending them to prison soon. But I think at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a building. I'm going to get a building. So I get 1 building. I get a smithy. Now this is another one that doesn't require any workers up there. 4 brick, 2 wood, 3 points at the end of the game, and 4 stone right away as soon as it's built. Okay, so that's a very doable building. Here we go. Let's go to Constantine. He's going to the tax. Oh, actually, I take that back. He started with no workers. Whenever that happens, you collect all of his workers anywhere except for the black market and the guild hall. Okay, all of his workers come back to his board. All of it, including his workers in prison. If I had any of his workers captured, he'd get them back at this point as well. Okay, but that's his turn. All right, well, I'm running low on workers here. I've sent so many to the guild hall. I've been building like a good architect. I think I want to get... I'm really trying to think about getting some more buildings. But I also would like to shoot up here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to try to move up here a little bit more. So I'm going to go to the mines, get 2 brick, 1 + 1 per worker. So now I've got 3 brick, and I can go to the action storehouse here soon, or King storehouse, excuse me, and start getting some virtue. All right, he's going to the tax stand, as we kind of got a little spoiler on there earlier. He goes there, this gets discarded. He's going to lose 2 virtue and get a marble, which is a point at the end of the game. All right. Well, let's see here. Really, what would have been smart for me earlier, before all of his workers got retrieved, I really should have gone to the town center and captured some of his workers. I haven't really explained how that works, and so when a few more of his workers get on the board, I'll try to do that, just if nothing else, to kind of show you how it works. You've seen him capture mine, you have not seen me capture his, and right now would not be a good time to do it because I'd only get 1 from the tax stand. It's the only worker he has out on the board right now. So let's see. I have this carpenter's hut that gives me a point for every axe symbol, so maybe I need to pick up some more workers with an axe symbol. If I get this stone cutter every time I go to the quarry, I would get an extra stone. That might be nice. And I would have 2 workers so I can go there. So let's do that. I'm going to go to the workshop. I'm going to put 2 into the tax stand. The first 2 go to the tax stand with the red coins. The other 2 are going to go to the supply. And now, since I've got 2 workers there, I can choose from these or these. I'll go ahead and get this stone cutter. Actually, that's not what I want. I want someone with an axe symbol, not that symbol. So I'll put a coin here. Well, let me double check myself here. I need to check. Give me one moment. I'm going to check this off camera. I need to check if I have to put a coin here and here to take that one. Give me one moment to check. Okay, so I got the clarification in the rule book. So I'm skipping 1 worker, basically, because instead of getting this one, I'm getting that one. And when you're skipping, you place the coin on the leftmost card of the row. So this is going to be placed on the illusionist. If I wanted that swindler card, I'd have to put another coin on the stone cutter. So I go ahead and take this wood cutter. That's going to give me another axe, which is going to be worth another point at the end of the game. And now we're going to refill this. Okay. All right. Here we go. Constantine is going to the guardhouse, and he's going to take as many actions as he can in order. He has nobody in prison. He has captured workers, so these are all going to the prison. He's going to get a marble for that. He doesn't. I don't have any captured workers of his, and he doesn't have any unpaid debts. All right. Well, now I've got a boatload of men in prison, and the next person that goes to the guild hall is going to trigger a black market reset. So I don't want to be in a position of that many men in prison. And besides, I'm almost out of workers. So I'm going to go ahead and place at the guardhouse. I can do 2 actions because I have 2 workers there, but I really only am going to do 1. I'm going to retrieve my workers from prison. I don't have any captured workers, so there's no reason for that. I don't have any unpaid debt, so there's no reason for that. Okay? All right. King Storehouse. He's getting back into virtue game. There he goes. That's giving him 5 points currently at the end of the game. All right, so I think at this point, what I wanted to do, I wanted to start getting some... I wanted to start getting some virtue here. But I'm wondering if before I do that, I go to the black market. As soon as I get to 10 or above, I can no longer go to the black market. And so it might be a good idea to go here and get one of the assistants, all right, or accomplices. I'm trying to, again, I do have issues remembering if it's in, let me look in the book here. I want to get the phrasing right. I think it's accomplices. All right. So let's go to the black market. I'm going to spend 2 coins. I'm going to lose a virtue because I'm hoping to pick that up again soon. And then I'm going to get a assistant. I'm going to take this illusionist because he's going to give me a coin and he's going to give me a axe symbol. Now, unfortunately, he's also going to immediately lose me a virtue. So I'm going to go down there, take that coin, and now I've got 3 axes. All right. Let me make sure he doesn't do anything. What's nice is that the rule book has a little compendium for each one of the apprentice abilities. That's the word, apprentice. I don't know why I've had so much issue. What he allows you to do is, for the rest of the game, do not lose virtue when taking actions at the black market. So if I had had him before what I just did, I wouldn't have lost that virtue. All right. So a little too late to do that, but maybe I go to the black market again before I go up. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Wow. King's Storehouse again. Moves up to the top of the virtue track. Can't do anything beyond that. So, I'm almost wondering. No, I don't think I want to go to the black market again. I think what I'm going to do, I'm wondering, do I want to go here and get some more virtue? Or do I want to build my smithy, which I can do here in a couple of turns? So let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's go to the King's Storehouse. I could potentially take 2 actions there, and I think actually I'm going to. First thing I'm going to do is spend my 2 brick to go up on the virtue track. And then I also have this ability now that I can, at the King's Storehouse, spend 1 coin for 2 wood. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's spend a coin and get 2 wood. All right. Constantine is going to the guild hall, and that's going to trigger a black market reset. And we're now 2 builds away from triggering the end game. All right, so black market reset. Every worker goes to prison. All right. Now, once that has happened, if anyone has 3 or more workers in prison, they're going to lose a virtue. No one does. The person with the most is going to get a debt. So now I've got a debt, an unpaid debt that I need to deal with, or else I'm going to lose 2 points at the end of the game. So that's a bit of a bummer. So I'm going to need to get some coins. I'm going to need to get some coins if I want to get them out, get this paid off. All right. 6 coins, to be exact. All right. Well, let's see here. Do I just start going to the silversmith and picking up coins? Let's do that. Silversmith is, I don't believe I've gone to this building yet. 1 coin plus 1 coin per worker, so I immediately pick up 2. I've got 3. I'm halfway to paying off this debt. All right. Constantine is going to go to the town center. All right. Town center is right here. He's going to capture workers. 1 coin's going into the tax stand. He's going to go wherever I have the most. Well, right now I've got 2 in the King's Storehouse, 2 in the workshop, 2 in the guardhouse, so we're going to look here. King's Storehouse is the first of those, so he captures my workers from there. They go right up there. All right. I think I'm going to go to the mines. That's going to give me 3 brick. Go to Constantine. He's going to the workshop. He's going to put 2 coins in the tax stand. And then this stone cutter is going to get discarded to the bottom of the deck. We're going to refill that. And one scheme card per worker. He's got one, so we put one future scheme card in there. All right. Here we go. Well, I think I can go ahead and build this smithy now. After I do this, I really need to think about trying to pay off this debt. I'd hate to lose those 2 points, but let's go to the guild hall. I'm going to build this smithy, which costs 4 brick, 2 wood, does not need any particular workers, going to give me 4 stone right away. So let's go ahead and pay that 4 brick and 2 wood, which is exactly what I have. That gets me 4 stone and 3 points at the end of the game. I could use that 3 stone to, this 4 stone, I can either get a marble, I could get some virtue. All right, here we go. Going to the town center, and he's capturing more of my dudes. All right, so the first place that he wants to capture from is the mines, and I have 2 workers there, and there, so he'll take those. Okay, wow. Do I think about going here to get this money so that I can pay off this debt? I might want to do that. All right, so I'll go to the tax stand. I'll immediately lose 2 virtue, take all this money, because I'm afraid he's going to clear that out here soon. All right, he's going to the guild hall. Oh, he's triggering the end game. Wow. Okay, so he goes to the guild hall. First possible action, he cannot go up any higher. Okay. Discards the top reward card, cannot do that. So actually he's going to get a marble. He's going to get a point because he couldn't do this. So he's going to get that marble. Now, he triggered the end game, which means that we're each going to get 1 turn left each. I'm going to get 1 and he's going to get 1. I am in a horrendous situation here where he ended the game where I have no workers. So what's going to happen is the only thing I can do is retrieve 1 of my workers from somewhere on the board, and that's my turn. So unfortunately, I can't use all of these coins that I was going to use to pay off that debt to go ahead and get those 2 points back. Well, that's a real shame, but hey, that's what happened. So my turn is basically, let's go ahead and take my guy from, it doesn't really matter, I'll take him from the tax stand. Well, I'll take him from the workshop. All right. And now Constantine's going to get his last turn. He's going to the tax stand. That actually is nice. I'm very happy with that because he goes there and he's going to lose 2 virtue, which means 4 points that he lost there. He's going to get 1 of those back, but that's a net 3 points that I gained there by him pulling the tax stand on that last turn. So that did work out well for me. All right, so that's the end game. And now we're going to go to end game scoring. All right. And so the way that endgame scoring is going to work is as follows. You're going to be adding up your, for me, I'm adding up my constructed buildings, all right? So let's just kind of go through this here. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So VP for constructed buildings, including any endgame bonuses. So we've got 6, 9, 14, 18, but I have a point for every woodcutter symbol. So we have 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 from that, okay? Wherever I'm at on the cathedral, I'm at 7, so that's 7 more, that's 28, all right? Gain or lose as to where I'm at here, which is nothing there, so I'm at 28. 2 for each unpaid debt, so that's 2 off there, so that's 26, all right? I would gain 1 VP for any gold or marble. I do not have any gold or marble. 1 point for every 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, so I don't have any there. And you'd lose 1 VP for every 2 workers in prison. Luckily, I only have 1. So I believe I'm at 26, all right? I'm at 26. So let's see where Constantine is at, all right? Constantine is going to get points for the cathedral. He's at 4. Unpaid debts, he doesn't have any. Virtue, so he's at 3 here, so that's 7. Plus 1 for each marble. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 there. And he's going to get 1 point for every worker in the guild hall. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right, so the way I've got it is I won 26-21. Now, had I played with Helena instead of Constantine, she would get 3 VPs for every point, or every person in the guild hall. So let's see how that would have worked out. She would have got 3 here, plus 4. She would have got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 23, 26, 29. So Helena would have beat me 29-26. So that gives you just a bit of an idea on how Helena versus Constantine worked. That's really the only difference there. So hopefully you got a pretty good idea on how the game goes. I'm going to look really quickly over the board and see if there's any place that I did not go. The one thing I do maybe want to explain a little bit more is the town center, because Constantine did it, but I never did it. At the town center, the first worker you place there, all right, I was actually red, not blue. The first worker you place there, you can pay 1 tax and you can capture a group of workers of any color. I could have captured my own to bring them back to my worker board, or I could have captured Constantine's to keep them here. You can capture them from any one location. If I had another worker there, I could capture them with an additional coin, 1 for tax, 1 for the supply. I could capture another group of workers from that location or another location. Actually, it wouldn't make any sense from this location, but I could have got it from 2 different locations. All right, so I think every other spot has been explained and accounted for. So there you go, Architects of the West Kingdom. So that was Architects of the West Kingdom. If you've seen any of my videos for the North Sea series of games, Raiders of the North Sea, Explorers of the North Sea, you know that I have an affinity for these games. There's something about them that are just in my wheelhouse. I think what I most appreciate about this game, in addition to those games, is that they've got this great combination of accessible, easy to understand actions with a great decision space that needs to be made. Everything is intuitive. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. How do I get there most efficiently is really that puzzle that I'm trying to solve. And the AI opponent that has been designed for this game, I think, is terrific. It's very clear, it's easy to administer, but it presents a real challenge, especially if you want to try to outthink it. If you want to try to guess where it's going to go next, that can really sometimes work for you, and that can really blow up in your face sometimes. There was a couple of times there during that game where I was trying to determine, okay, how likely is it that my workers are going to be sent to prison on this turn? And if so, do I need to do something to help mitigate that? So what's nice about it is that for an AI system, it does exactly what it should, which does not allow you to just do what you want to do. I would have played that game so differently if I was just working towards a high score. It's not just about efficiency. You really have to think about what is Constantine or Helena, depending on the difficulty level. What are they going to do? What is likely to come up here? They can really mess with your plans quite a bit. They're capturing your workers, they're sending them to prison, they're going to the black market, potentially triggering that black market reset. It's really great how quickly you play those AI turns, but they really do impact your play, and they make you choose decisions that might not be optimal because you have to take them into account. And so I think that's really the best thing you can say about an AI system, is that it is easy to administer, it's easy to understand, it's unambiguous, but it really affects how you play. It's truly an opponent. It's not just a blocking mechanism. It's truly an opponent. And I think that you can hopefully see that throughout the game. It plays quickly. The setup and teardown is not a trouble at all. The art, while as you can see it's in prototype form, is beautiful as always. I cannot tell you how much I love the aesthetic of these games, of the Miko's art. It is just, something about it speaks to me. This one has almost more of a playful feel than the first 3 of the North Sea games. I mean, it still has that same general aesthetic, but it has almost more of a playful feel to it. And I do appreciate that. You know, it's interesting in the North Sea games, it's all about tearing things down. You know, you're ravaging, you're pillaging, you're destroying. And in this one, you're building. And so I really kind of like that dichotomy. You can play the North Sea games and pillage and plunder and destroy, and then you can come to the West Kingdom and you can build things up. So I hope you can tell from my comments here that I think this is just a tremendous game. I think it is fantastic as a solo game. It has a perfect game weight. The time to play is right in my wheelhouse, and I really just have enjoyed every moment I've had with it. So thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.